welcome back to the Super Tuesday recap with your hosts, Chris and Deepam here. This is the final, kind of the final Super Tuesday for our man Deepam while he is still technically a bachelor. How's it feel, man?
It's exciting. I'm very happy this is all happening, but I kind of wanted to get here. Not in the Christmas kind of way. No, I can't wait. There's a piece of that too, but more than I've poured about a year of my life into you, man. Let's do this now. I am ready to. You know how you come home from work and you're able to kind of shut your brain off a little because you don't have to think about anything else because work's over.
Yeah,
I don't have that.
Yeah.
I haven't had that for a while.
Yeah. It's
even if it's not something that we actually needs to be accomplished. It's more like we're each other's support system because it's insanely stressful.
Oh no, and that's the thing to me. It's like when people always ask that, the bride to be and the groom to be is like, oh, so are you ready? Like, what's going on? I'm like, yeah, you never really they never really ask them or address the fact that they're probably just tired because it's a lot of fucking work. Like I just see people running around. I'm just like, it just seems like a lot, I'm tired watching you all be tired, and
I'm out of the office the next 2 days, and these are not days of relaxation.
No, they're not. They are very high stressful days.
There's shit to be done,
right? There are fires. There are fires to put out. There are fires to prevent. There's a lot going on.
Not even fires. You're just this is the thing we planned for this space of time.
Yes. So, well, like I said, you know what? I think CW gave you a nice little
They gave 2 hours of real joy.
Yeah, they gave you some like wedding gifts because they really gave us 2 really great episodes from The Flash and Legend of Tomorrow. With The Flash, it's season 4, episode 4, Elongated Journey Into Night. Gypsy's father, Breacher, takes an immediate disliking to Cisco and decides to hunt him. Barry runs to his old nemesis, Ralph Dibny. I always say this because somebody posted in the group, MTR Network group. They was like, "Hey, was it just me, or was this one of the best episodes The Flash has done in a long time?" I will say this is probably it will be. I'd probably have to go back to season 1 to find an episode I enjoyed as much as this episode right now.
It's I think it's weird. It's weird how long it took to get Ralph, but it kind of makes sense because you look at the last 2 seasons in particular, they go super dark, super fast.
Mm-hmm.
And at its core, Dibny, the Elongated Man, isn't dark.
Yeah.
There are certain characters and takes on him and writers who will try to make his story dark by murdering his wife.
I wasn't even going to brand that.
Needlessly.
I wasn't even going to be the one to brand the murdered wife this time. See, I wasn't even going to be
needlessly. Identity crisis, and for what? So Jean Loring, what? Anyway, sorry. Anyway, Ralph Dibny's a light character, man. He's a fun character. You see, even the roguishness and the bits of danger he was in always felt a little comic booky. Getting held by your ankles over a fire escape happens in comic books and maybe Vanilla Ice's past. We don't know. That's not a real threat, though. That's not something that really happens. But it happened to Ralph because he's kind of comic booky in the best way.
I mean, this is a guy who sneezed in his face.
Hilarious. And I'm so glad they fixed that off screen and didn't explain it. We just didn't want to look at that until we fixed it.
Oh, I'm happy that Joe's whole conversation was basically what is it, 4 years of doing this, and this is what finally does me in. 4 years of dealing with it, and then I finally throw up. He finally pulled a Diggle, and it's too much for him, yo.
It was almost too much for me, and I was and I'm on this side of the screen, man. That's, yeah. They really kind of captured the body horror of Ralph's powers, and the fact that she picked up the jar of Gingold, come on.
Mm-hmm. But that's the thing. It's
it really does.
Well, and I think again it goes to the fact that this show has course corrected this season. That they got really, really dark, and it wasn't even just that it wasn't even that the show was dealing with just dark material. The Flash always deals with dark stuff. it's the fact that you can present that still in a fun way. I mean, if you think about this episode, there are some fun, it's a funny over the top episode, but there was some like Ralph's whole thing was kind of dark. He was kicked off the force because he fabricated evidence to frame a husband that he knew was guilty for killing his wife. And Barry was the one as a young CSI who figured out that he had faked this evidence and got him kicked off the force. And you're watching, you're trying to figure out this entire time what Ralph and Barry's problem is. And even when Barry tells you this, you're like, oh, okay. It still didn't hit me until Barry has a conversation with Joe. And he's like, yo, I did that when I was younger. And now I look at what we do now. We're kind of doing the same thing. They brought up the fact that, hey, we hold criminals in the pipeline. We break the rules. We don't follow the rules to get justice. We find just another way. Ralph wasn't wrong that the guy he framed was guilty. He found a way. He knew he was guilty, and he felt like he couldn't operate within the system, so he worked around it. And he suffered for it because of that. He's like, and Barry's like, yo, I needed him to be the bad guy. I needed him to continue to be a bad person to look at what we're doing and justify that. I'm like, yo, that's actually kind of deep and it's actually kind of dark. But the entire episode doesn't, not that it doesn't harp on that, but it doesn't let that drag down the fun of the episode and the story, you know? And I think that's what's been missing the last couple of seasons, is that they've let the darkness take over. Honestly, it's kind of funny. They literally gave in to what Zoom was talking about, letting the darkness take over. That's literally what's happening with that show. This season, they seem to have found that balance of, hey, we can tell serious, dark stories, but still have it fun and light because this is a fucking Flash. And the stuff is ridiculous. You know? So, no, I thought that was a really great. I love the fact that they've also been addressing something that we've kind of been thinking about. It's like, yeah, you guys do kind of, you know, you guys are kind of breaking the law and taking justice in your own hand.
Yeah,
you know, that you need to reconcile that. You know, that is a real thing that needs to happen. So I appreciate the fuck out of that, man. I thought
it's the show at its best, because you're right. It got to deal with these deeper prescient issues that kind of define the team and their larger, like, ethical matters. But at the same time, it was fun as hell.
Yeah. The episode ends with, again, there is no superpowered villain. It's literally just is a crooked politician, and it ends with Elongated Man throwing his arm out to grab a helicopter and fucking Barry Allen running across his outstretched arms to get to the helicopter. It is absurd. It is the most absurd thing in the world, but it works. It works, and it's fun, and you get all the stuff. Hey, you even down to the point of you get lost in the middle of this episode is you move the plot forward because Barry finds out that DeVoe is the person behind getting all these people their powers.
Right.
Like you actually forget that. You're like, wait a minute. We actually moved the main plot forward without ever having to think at all in this episode. You have Barry. You draw a parallel to his other to the previous season where Barry puts it together. Simple.
Well, I thought it was going to be interesting if they just name dropped him and didn't, but they were very explicit with giving us those flashback moments.
Yeah, they were like, yo, and you know why I appreciate that versus just name dropping it and Barry not putting it together. It's like, no, come on. At this point, Barry's a detective. He's worked on this kind of stuff. Barry should be able to remember and put that stuff together. He's been through a lot. It works.
It was super funny. Speaking of him as a detective, when the mayor was like, me, Joe, Barry, we're all cops here. And Barry's like, not a cop.
Right.
He's like, no one call me a cop. I help a cop. I ain't no cop.
Right. I got an office in the force.
All right, Barry.
I'm on the force. I guess.
I have a laminate. I don't have a badge. It's a laminate. Right. It gets me in buildings. No.
But yeah, no, I really appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that you had to reconcile the main character's hypocrisy, and that he doesn't just make it up. He kind of goes and it's like, oh no, you know what? I'm wrong. And the end is him coming and going to Ralph and say, listen, you know what? Let me train you. Let's work together. Let me help you be a detective. Let me help you get back what I took from you because, hey, you did it wrong at the time, but I now understand that you did what you thought was right. You were doing it, and you weren't doing it to be a dirty cop, right? You weren't doing it just to pad your pockets. You were doing it because, hey, the man was guilty. He killed his wife, and there was no evidence to put it together. You knew he was guilty, and you couldn't do anything. And while that doesn't make you right, your heart was in a good place. And that's what Barry was having a hard time reconciling. Like, because they do the same thing. I mean, if you think about it, and I'm actually surprised, not surprised, but with everything else that they've done such a good job of like tying together, yeah, you know, I am kind of surprised. I'm surprised they didn't mention Julian. Because that was Julian's whole thing last season was the reason why he didn't like Barry Allen. It's like you cut corners, you don't follow rules, you think you're above the rules and the law and things like that. And Julian was kind of right. So they're kind of taking the Julian angle and they kind of turn it around so that it's not, I don't want to say it was annoying last season, but they kind of make it more explicit. Like, hey, listen, yeah, you know what? You actually kind of are in the wrong here, you know, and you need to reconcile that. So no, I really enjoyed how they did the entire thing. And again, we got the Elongated Man on TV.
Which is, as long as it doesn't end in, certain characters getting, if this ends with Sue Dibny on my television and them two as a detective husband and wife team and it just stops there, that's all I need. Get me to that point. I love the fact that he said Plastic Man was the dumbest name you'd ever heard, which ties to the fact that in the comics, these two characters do not like each other.
Yes.
Is in the nose twitch, which I may have. I don't want to say I didn't scream. I was just excited. At the very end, it was like I smell mystery. The twitching nose is like they went full Elongated Man. You're right.
Yeah, they went full Elongated Man. I love when he how they just come in and give him like this is why you have to have they're finally giving Caitlin things to do. It's like, yo, she's the doctor. She came up with something, gave it to him. It's like, hey, yeah, now you can control your powers. It's like, boom, simple. Like, it's easy. It went from him not being able to do it to now all of a sudden he can do it. And the first thing he does, he gives himself abs and goes, I look like a Hemsworth, which is perfect because Thor comes out this week. So exactly. I'm just like, you know what? You guys are very smart there. I fucking get it. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just. Everything they did with that it just worked. It was fun, and then everything else around that. I mean, that alone would have been enough, right? But then you give me Danny Trejo as
So now we're getting to the A plot of the episode.
Listen. So you do realize now we need to have Breacher and Heatwave in an episode together, right?
I don't know if our television can take it.
Because that pairing right there, I just need 30 seconds. I just need 30 seconds of those two interacting, and I'm good. Because this was amazing. This was the most amazing. Like, I love Danny Trejo, first of all right? I just have so much fun seeing his character in anything he does. And this was just so great. It was just like him just being him being that overprotective father, but like more dangerous. It's like, yeah. So where did he go? I don't know. Where do you go when you're dead? Like, just like talking about the other guy he hunted.
I don't know where you go when you die. Jesus. The line delivery. Everything about that. And you know what? I do want to say this. So we've all accepted that on all the other Earths, there are counterparts of ourselves, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Cynthia is a gender swapped Cisco. Right? Her name being Cynthia nailed it for me.
Oh, this is going to be great when Cisco finds out he's dating and having sex with
himself, which is fine. It's whatever. I don't know if it's fine. I don't know how it works. I don't know if someone's more into that. All I know is that, hey, the person he's in love with happens to be himself.
And happens to have the similar power set as him, and from another.
That's why she's the ginger swapped Cisco.
She really is. Yeah.
Or he's this. You know what? He's the ginger swapped her because she seems to be much more badass than him.
Yeah, way more badass than him.
He's the off-color copy. She's the genuine.
See, and now we've just ruined Cisco and Gypsy for everybody.
No, I'm ruining it for. If that's what ruins it for you, for shame.
But you know what the thing about it is, I love the fact that they're actually giving Cisco and Gypsy like a real relationship. I mean, they had great chemistry.
Which means they're going to kill one of them.
Oh, God damn it! See. Hey, look. You know what? It's your wedding, so I'm giving you the chance to get all your blame D-palms out right now. So thank you for saying about me.
I'm saying like this ended too well. These two characters, the actors as well, have immense amounts of chemistry.
Yes.
How do we reward chemistry in the DC CW universe?
Oh no, we kill
with murder.
We murder. Yeah. I mean, technically, Felicity and Oliver haven't died. I mean, they've gone through some shit.
Trying to kill Felicity.
Yeah, they've been trying to kill her, but I'm just saying.
If Felicity were starring in a movie, it'd be Final Destination, and Death's like, what the fuck do I have to do to get rid of her?
Right. Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm just saying,
But she got paralyzed and can walk again.
Yeah. Nobody brings it up. Nobody brings it up.
Nobody brings it up.
Yeah. She has prototype technology and that can literally save the fucking world. Like I love that. I mean, I know this is off topic here, but I love that she's going. Yeah, I need to do something for money, and I'm like, you literally have life-saving technology implanted into your spine. Figure it out. Like there's something you can use that for.
It feels like the next steps I shouldn't have to spell out for you.
Like, if I remember correctly, Curtis came up with it. So you're yeah, you two.
You're the two dumbest smart people ever.
You can literally end. And solve so many problems with just whatever. Anyway, but
David Trejo being amazing.
Yeah,
I love the line delivery of your security in this place is very poor. And this is your assistant, Mary Allen. I started to impress him. I can't stop. Help me.
Right. That and you look like somebody I sent my daughter to kill. I get that a lot. Which again, so there's a little thing in this episode. I love the self-awareness of certain things. Certain things like so you had the self-awareness of Barry Allen and them using the pipeline, putting people in the pipeline and being mad at Dibny being a dirty cop, but they're kind of doing the same fucking thing. Like think about it, Joe West is literally okay with them locking up metahumans was okay with them locking up metahumans with no form of due process. They actually had some die in the pipeline, and nobody said anything, right? But Ralph Dibny is a problem. You have Danny Trejo's breacher mentioning the poor security. You have Harry mentioning the fact that yes, he is the dead Wells of this world, and that technically was admitted to murder. And so, yeah, dude, somebody should probably mention that you look like somebody that should be dead and not around. So it just, I just like the fact that they again, they were small little things. And I think, especially after last season, we were kind of just like, I just felt like they were missing some of the small connections. This episode kind of puts them all in there, and you're going, oh, wow, I wasn't even thinking about that, but now that you did mention it, yeah, I'm glad you did, because that's an important thing to say. Like, it all just felt like it fell into place. I really loved it. Danny Trejo was amazing. When he goes into the whole spiel about why he doesn't drink coffee and why he'll never drink coffee, and I'm just like, oh my God, this guy is the worst. And then he changed it on a dime and go, shoot, when Gypsy goes, Daddy, want me to get you some tea? Yeah, honey, can you give me some tea? That'd be great. And I'm just like, this is not good for Cisco. It's not good for Cisco. And then he starts counting down. And Cisco's like, wait, are you counting down? What are you doing? It's just, oh my God, it's so good. I can't wait. And I love the fact that he never really changed. He eventually apparently was okay with Cisco, but it's like, yeah, but I don't like you, but you know, I still don't like you.
I'm not going to kill you.
I'm not going to kill you. And she's like, oh wow, he's gushing over you. I just this is good. He's like, that's gushing. That's him liking me. So, oh yeah, no, I mean he didn't kill you, so yeah. So, oh man, it's so good, so good. And also the fact that Cisco didn't even know Gypsy's real name. Like they've been in this relationship. She had gotten mad because he didn't remember 111 day, and he still didn't even know her real name. He was still going by her code name. So good.
Look, they've got a cross-dimensional long-distance relationship. He should know her name.
You know what though? So I actually had this in my notes that I couldn't say anything about this because everybody except for family and people at work know me as will mention me Chris and won't use my real name. And if I hear my real name outside of those groups, like my family or my work or people at work, I get mad. I'm like, what the fuck? Who the fuck?
Every time you ever mailed me something, I'm like, who the fuck is? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Never mind.
Yeah. So I was like, so I was all indignant about how Cisco didn't know Gypsy's real name. Then I was like, oh, but you know what? Everybody
That's
does
a
call
really
you.
good point.
I was like,
man.
everybody does call you Chris.
Because when your RSVP came back for the wedding, I was like, who did we invite?
Yeah, who the fuck is this random person?
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh okay. Yeah,
I've had to start putting Chris in quotes when I send things to people like that. I'm like, yeah, okay, it's Chris. Oh, okay.
Oh
yeah, that guy. Oh yeah, I do know. I'm just like, oh god. And then on top of that, you get Joe trying to hide the fact that Cecile's pregnant, but everybody can tell he's glowing. And then the moment when he does say it, it's at the weirdest. It's like at the moment when he gets saved in the helicopter, and he just says, "Cecile's pregnant." Like it just feels so right. It is amazing. Like before then, when they're in the I think they're in the in Star Labs and they're going to the elevator, and Bear's like, oh yeah, something just seemed different, but you seem glowing. It's like, and he's says about Cecile's like, no, Cecile's fine. If anything changes, I'll let you know. And it just seems weird. And Joe just like, and Bear's just like, yo, what is wrong with Joe? What is he? That's just weird. Okay, and all of us know what it is, but it was just funny to see this, man. Ah, God, it was so fucking great, man. This was just honestly, this was just a great episode. Forgot when Harry is trying to give Cisco advice on how to deal with Breacher, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, but you can't date my daughter. Like you can date everybody. Be proud.
Father would be happy to have you date their daughter. You can't date Jesse.
Yeah, you can't date Jesse. No, that's just a bad idea. You can't do that. You shouldn't do that. Like you just." And I'm just like, "Yo, Harry, you started off strong. You are floundering at the finish line. Like you are not."
No, he shouldn't date Jesse.
Oh no! I didn't say he wasn't. I didn't say it was wrong. I'm just saying you just can't. That's not a good. You're not inspiring confidence right now, yo.
That's true. You did go against your goal of making him feel good. Yes.
Yeah, you can't go. Yeah, no. Any father would be proud of you to date their daughter, except me. I'm just like,
not me. No, not me. No,
not me, and not my daughter. It's just. Oh man, this entire episode is just this is where we're and again I know at some point we're gonna get some darker. We're gonna get an episode that might be a little darker and things like that, and that's fine. But the fact that this season has started with the way it has and how they've gone with it shows me that I think they understand that they went a little too far into the red last season, and they're kind of bringing it back. And I think it'll be great. I think it'll be great to see how. I think it's gonna be great seeing Barry trying to train another superhero who isn't a speedster,
right?
And I think that's an important thing because it means having to help somebody. Because we never, yeah, sure, Caitlin has powers, Cisco has powers, but it's not really Barry training either one of them, and Barry hasn't been the one that really trained them. So this is going to be something totally different, and it kind of moves Barry into honestly, it moves him into like an Oliver Queen category where Oliver is now training other people to be superheroes as well and filling this spot. And Barry now gets to do the same thing. And that works. Because if you think about it, I mean, of the Arrowverse, Barry and Oliver are the Batman and Superman of this universe. So it's going to be nice to see them moving into the mentor slash leader role of training other people, and I think that's going to be a really important. I think it's going to be a really important part of Barry's story this season is seeing how he does that. And even down to the idea of like when he brought the idea that Barry trying to label the all the people that got powers on the bus as villains.
Yeah.
And then he realizes, well, okay, they're like, hey, you can't do that. We don't know if they're all going to turn out to be villains. And if you think about it, Kilgore kind of was like, you kind of understand Hazard and where she was coming from, and she was a villain, but it was more like she might not. You can still probably turn her good, maybe possibly. So yeah, you don't really know if all of them are going to be villains or not. And what if some of them aren't? What if some of them turn into people that Barry can work as allies and work with? And then the Thinker probably thought of that. So what is the Thinker's plan on dealing? I think there's just a lot of things that are going to be really interesting how they're doing this, and it's different from what we've seen before. So yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. I think it's the best episode they've done. And don't get me wrong, I really like season 2. But I think this is one of the better. I think this is one of the best episodes they've done since season 1. Honestly, I think I probably go back to season 1 to get an episode I liked as much as this one, and that says a lot because there have been, I know we're down on episode on season 3, but there were still good episodes in season 3. There were great episodes in season 2 and great episodes in season 1. So to put this one up so high, I think it just shows you how good this episode really was. So, do you have anything else you want to say about this episode?
Yeah, and I want to point this out for our eagle-eyed viewers. Ralph Dibny was on the list of people missing after the particle accelerator explosion in season 1.
Oh,
I hope they mention that.
Yeah,
he was on the run. He could have skipped town. He could have not been in town. Whatever. I just hope they mention it because that was my original hope for Elongated Man.
Okay, not bad. I completely forgot about that. So, yeah, but there you guys have it. That is our review recap of season 4, episode 4, Elongated Journey Into Night. Make sure you guys email us at mtrailerreviews@mtrnetwork.net if you guys will have any comments, questions, and concerns you want to talk about with this episode. Our next mailbag episode will be coming later on this month. I'm still working on what we're going to be talking about on that episode. I'll let you guys know, but I think that we might get into some Star Wars stuff, depending on when we put that out, because I know Star Wars comes out in on the 18th, so we might mention some Star Wars stuff, maybe some Star Wars comics. I'll let you know in a couple weeks what some of the topics are going to be, so if you guys want to email in for that episode, you guys can, and for that, it's mailbag@mtrnetwork.net. Make sure you guys subscribe on Super Tuesday Recap feed on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play Music, and also get to us on YouTube. We're putting out a lot more video content on YouTube, so go to youtube.com/mtrnetwork. So, again, guys, thank you guys very much for listening. Until next time, we're out of here. Peace.